Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Sharks lose in a game that I can only describe as the battle of the haves and have-nots, i.e. Leafs have all the forwards, the Sharks have all the defensemen, and the Leafs have the better goaltender. I'm Eric Landi, joined by AJ Strong. AJ, quickly, how are you doing?
I've been better.
Yeah, I think that pretty much describes all of Shark Nation right now. If you want to be part of the show, actually, this is the wrong side. Hey, cool.
Hey, make it work, man.
No,
wow, that's there you go.
There you go. If you want to be a part of the show, you can use the hashtag TealTownUSA and tweet at us at TealTownUSA on the Twitter machine. We're also available on the Facebook chat, on Instagram, SoundCloud, and of course, we always check in on the YouTube chat and take all your guys' questions there. So, kind of going over, this was going to be, we knew we kind of were going to get a high-scoring affair going into this game. I didn't realize maybe how high-scoring we were going to get, but the Sharks fall to the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-3. AJ, quickly on the outset, what's just your quick takeaways from the game?
I look at it very similar to playoffs versus Pittsburgh, that the Sharks 4 years later still have a problem with dealing with the speedy transition, and Jones has to be better. Team defense has to be better. The breakaways, the just overall not good. Not good.
So, I mean, starting off in that first period, the Toronto scores 2 minutes into the first period. It's John Tavares. It's kind of weird because he goes behind the net, tries to go out and do a wraparound. I'm thinking that's what he's trying to do there. But instead, he banks it off of Vlasic's skate, and into the net we go, 1-0. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, this is not a great way to start, especially because it was right after a power play that the Sharks had gifted to Toronto. Barclay Goodrow takes I guess it's a roughing call, or you could call it an instigator, whatever you want to call it, against Nazem Kadri. And that's going to be a theme going across this game. He was kind of a prick tonight.
No, I don't think that I don't want to say that Kadri was a prick tonight. It wasn't him that started it. It was Goodrow in the faceoff circle from the moment the game started. Obviously, Goodrow trying to step up. I guess you can sit there and say, well, it's the Sharks trying to, make a statement for what happened versus, I guess to answer the Thornton fight from last season. But we're talking about something that happened last season. Like, I thought that was a really silly way to start. Maybe you start a playoff series like that, like we saw Thornton try to do with Getzlaf years back. But a team that you're going to face twice a season, I felt it was silly. And once Kadri pretty much just, waved his hand and said, dude, I'm not dropping, do everything you want. I'm not dropping the gloves tonight. Goodrow should have just backed off. I thought that was a silly penalty to take that early. And then, as you said, just as a penalty expires, Tavares, banks one in, a weird one. It goes off Pickles. Jones should have stayed down. And the thing that you look at right then, in which Randy Hod did say, is that the Toronto Maple Leafs undefeated when scoring first. So you couldn't have felt good about that. I just thought I get what they were trying to do, but once Kadri showed that he wasn't dropping, then just move on.
Right. I mean, we kind of got that feeling like, oh my goodness, the Sharks, give up an early one here. Never good, as Randy points out. They're 9-0, I think 9-0 when they score first. Kevin LeBanc, though, comes back 3 minutes, 28 seconds later at 5:28 in the first and scores, I guess, what we would call just one of those fluke goals off the end boards. We see it kick out every once in a great while. It seems to happen more and more in Detroit, but Detroit's known for that.
Well,
but
Not it doesn't happen in Detroit anymore.
Oh, right. I mean, now that they're in Little Caesars Arena or whatever, but the old
the
Joe
pizza
Louis,
oven, the dojo, if you will, DOUGH.
So I mean, that was something that Joe Louis was known for. But anyhow, Kevin LeBanc gets his third goal. Carlson and Ryan really start that rush up. I believe it's Carlson who actually banks it into the offensive zone, and Kevin LeBanc just right place, right time. Kasperi Kapanen comes back and scores, and boy, that kid, he's got some talent. Maybe one of the unsung heroes on that Toronto team. You get passed up by Marner and of course Tavares and Nylander when he was there. I mean, it just seems like he's kind of one of the unsung heroes there, and he scores a seventh. Joe Pavelski would tie it back up, though. Go ahead, AJ.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm multitasking.
Joe Pavelski gets a tip in from Brent Burns. It's the crazy eights, as they want to call that pairing. But Joe Pavelski ties it back up. That is on the power play, so that's good to see the power play click. However, we'll get a little bit further into it. Marc-Edouard Vlasic comes in on a tic-tac-toe and scores an easy layup. Go into the first period, go into the dressing room at 3-2, and you feel, okay, the Sharks are in this. They're winning. They're looking like they're kind of hanging toe-to-toe with Toronto. And then we go into the second period.
Well, for my wrap on that first is just to dovetail on what you're talking about. I mean, you got oh my God, just the Kapanen. I mean, Marleau just Kane flips a bad play in the neutral. Marleau picks it off. It's a great essential 2-on-1. It did happen when it was 4-on-4, so there was definitely some more ice because both Meier and Kadri were in the box. Not really sure why Meier was in the box at that point, but whatever. Riley would slash Burns, and then this is the one that got me like hooting and hollering a little bit is Pavelski from the Burns pass from Carlson. It's a 4-on-3, but the fact that it was the backdoor play, but Pavelski just parked and Burns with a beautiful between the legs pass. I can't remember what maple leaf it was, but threaded the needle, but finds Pavelski on the back door. Why the Sharks don't try that play more often, I don't know why. I saw them attempt it a couple times tonight, but that is something that drives me crazy that they don't look for that more often because the weak side seems to be open so many times and they don't look for that. Meier gets interference yet again. Meier looked like he was the Meier of old. Yeah. He could get, somebody could get under his skin real easy tonight, which I didn't like seeing. I thought he had learned a little bit of control, but then you said, Vlasic's first goal of the season, a roof job on a great pass from Pavelski. But the thing that kind of floated with me after that first is, okay, so you take it all in. Sharks are up 3-2. That's great. Weird thing is they're getting absolutely demolished in the circle. 29% for the Sharks after one. The weird thing, though, doubled up in hits, out hitting Toronto 14-7 after one. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it seems like they were trying to take that physical tone. It looked like they were kind of going after Kadri all the entire game. I wanted to quickly go over on that Kasperi Kapanen goal. That was that 2-on-1 from Patty Marleau, and Marleau with the feet, of course. Braun had fronted Marleau, and so Marleau looked like he was pretty well contained. He was taking the shooter. In that instance, Jones really needs to understand that the percentage of that shot coming in from Marleau is going to be a lot lower than that pass going across, and he needs to square up a little bit more on that puck. I did not like that goal on that 2-on-1.
At least I could understand that goal. It was the later goals that I had an issue with Jones tonight.
Everybody asking about the laundry. It was put away today, actually in the second period. So maybe that was why we lost.
Consuela made it by today.
Yeah, exactly.
No. But before we get into the second period, I do want to take this opportunity to welcome everybody who is watching the show tonight. Appreciate you coming in. If you are not a subscriber, do us a favor. Click the subscribe button. We do this live after every single Sharks game. We also have some ancillary content that we'll throw up here on from time to time, but we also have our SoundCloud for audio only stuff as well. So do us a favor, check out all of the social media channels. You can find us everywhere, Teal Town USA, and you might want to hang out a little bit because I do have a fun announcement tonight at the end of the show for something that's upcoming. But as you can see on the graphic, catch us everywhere. We're world badass and nationwide, as the kids like to say. And hey, throw us up a iTunes review. I haven't seen one of those in a while, and we appreciate those.
Yeah,
good, bad, constructive criticism. You like the show, whatever. We appreciate it. You think Kayla needs a nicer bed, whatever it is.
Yeah, you think I need some new laundry,
right?
Going into that.
Yeah, let's get to the second.
In that second period, Josh Levo gets his second from Ennis and Gauthier. Gauthier.
Let it
whatever
go.
It is. 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the second period, and you thought, oh no, I mean they're coming back on again, and this team will not go away. Toronto ties it up 3-3.
Well, and that all starts from a bad pass choice from Burns in the offensive zone for the Sharks, and ends up flipping off, and then boom, the transition, which is the story of the night. The Sharks could not deal with the speed and the transition that the Maple Leafs brought tonight. Exactly.
It was the transition game. As we'll circle around to that at the wrap of this game. Kasperi Kapanen scores a shorthanded goal. Mitch Marner given a great feed. Okay.
Hold on. Before you get into that, we're already getting some quotes from Postgame. One of those quotes from Nazem Kadri saying, I think the Sharks might have been a little too worried about the wrong thing, which is, the Sharks wanted to make some sort of statement to Nazem Kadri rather than to win the game, it felt like.
Right. I mean, I agree with that, but I think to me the more disturbing thing about this game, and it's something that has been in their game since the beginning of the season, are these odd man rushes. It is the consistent odd man rushes, and we've seen it more and more creep into the power play. And when you have an inefficient power play, or a power play that really just sucks energy and momentum from the game, it doesn't give you momentum, it sucks it out. That's a problem. That really is, and I don't know what it's going to take to get some adjustments done on this power play. Whether or not that is putting Burns in the Ovi spot, whether or not that is trying to figure out maybe he needs to play up on the right wing during the power play, or some other oddball idea that hasn't been done yet. I mean, look. As much as I would love Steve Spott to be relieved of, even just if he was kept on the staff but relieved of those particular duties, it's not going to happen. I don't see that happening.
No.
But there needs to be some structural changes done to this power play.
And it does get to that point when you sit there, because I mean, Jamie Baker has said it, other people have said it, that the coaching can only do so much. It comes down to the players that have to execute. And to a certain extent, yeah, I get that, but you do have to put players, you have to run the right system, take advantage, put them in the best position to succeed. When it comes to numbers, off the power play, you at least they're starting to trend in the right way, which we haven't seen, because over the last 5 games, they're 2 for 18. Now, 2 games ago coming in, They were 1 for 20, not good by any stretch. And, 1 for 18 upon Thornton's return. However, the last 5 games, it's 0 for 3, 0 for 4, 0 for 3. But Nashville, 1 for 5. So you're at 20%. Tonight, 1 for 3. So you add up the last 2 games, you're talking the power play at 25%, which is beautiful. You would love that. If the Sharks can maintain that and continue that, and I don't know that 25% is sustainable, but if you can, float between 18 and 23, then you're good. But if you have these lulls where you're dipping down and your power play over 8 games is 8%, and the fact that nobody seems to be held accountable for that does, I mean, you can understand why fans on social media have an issue and will voice that problem.
Yeah. And I think that it is deserved. I mean, I think that this team, I mean, I don't understand why Burns is not parked right in front of the goaltender.
Me neither. To me, he should be like Bufflin Jr.
Bufflin Jr. or hell, Tomas Holmstrom, did such a great job of creating disruption in the front. Because
I think they're deploying it where Pavs is the tipper.
Well, so I mean, you can have a layer though, right? I mean, if you have Burns, fronting the goalie, Pavs right in front of Burns there for the tip, and then Carlson patrolling the back end.
I like that idea where you're kind of rolling an umbrella, but it seems like they are just pot committed to 1-3-1.
I know. And to me, look, I mean, what is that famous adage of committing, it's madness if you continue to do the same thing over and over and over again and it doesn't work.
Oh, no, it's the
insanity definition of insanity.
Yeah. Is continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome.
Right. And I mean, that's literally what we're at right now. And so the Sharks surrender, I think they're only their 3rd shorthanded goal of the year, but still, I mean, it seems like there's been more and more chances that have been given up.
Well, let's be honest, tonight on the power play, the Sharks did score in their first power play. The following 2 that they did play on, there were better opportunities and more dangerous opportunities for Toronto on the last 2 power plays than there were for the Sharks. And that is something that obviously you need to take into account. But again, it goes back to the idea of the Sharks still have a problem facing a team that has a great speed and transition game, because the Sharks, to me, were getting owned in the neutral zone.
Right, exactly. And then finally in the 3rd period, Mitch Marner, I mean, that 3rd period was ugly. I mean, it just looked like the jam was out of the Sharks game. It just looked like they had kind of deflated and never really recovered after that shorthanded goal, in my opinion.
Well, I think a little bit of that, a little bit of as soon as the 3rd period start, the line blender was in full effect. The night started with Suomela centering Donskoy and Kane, and then once the 3rd period started, all of a sudden it was Pavs in between Kane and Donskoy, which was the recipe for success earlier. And this goes back to something with Peter DeBoer that everybody, you can sit there and go, hey, he knows, or he's forgotten more about hockey than you'll ever know, which I totally agree with. However, it's a little like, I would love to ask DeBoer sometime, what is your rationale to taking 3 lines, well, essentially all the lines, reconfiguring all of them just to insert a single player when the lines that you had were working? And what I mean by that is that when you look back when Thornton came back versus the Rangers, at that point, you had Pavs, Kane, and LeBanc working. You had Suomela, Donskoy, and Sorensen working. You had Meyer, Couture, and who am I missing?
You're LeBanc.
No.
With Hurdle. I mean,
Meyer. Okay, that's it. Yeah, Meyer, Couture, and Hurdle. So you had these 3 lines that were working. And what happens? It seemed like most obvious. You know what? bring Jumbo back slowly, put him in the fourth line. It could help Goodrow and Milker Karlsson's game, who totally needs some help. How will they look if they skate with one of the best centers to ever play the game? That, to me, would have been a great option. Instead, PDB decides to, no, I'm going to I'm going to fix every line, even though they aren't broken, and I'm going to just move all the pieces around for some reason. Tonight, Couture centering Pavs and Meyer. Why? Why didn't you put out Pavs with Kane and Donskoy?
Exactly. Keep some chemistry.
Yeah, that worked really well for you the last game.
And LeBanc being with Meyer and Couture, which has also, that's where they've defaulted when Hurdle is gone.
Exactly. And keep Thornton with Sorensen.
Sorensen, exactly.
So
I don't get it either.
Yeah, that's I look at that, and that's the thing that I find maddening with PDB. I wish somebody, one of the beat writers, would ask him that question, that why do you feel the need to, rejigger every line when one person is either out or one person comes back, whether it was inserting Thornton or making up for Hurdle. Just it's we could be here all day with this. Let me finish up the second. At least the face-off percentage after the second did get better. It increased by 10%. So the show, that's at least there's one thing, I guess, that you can kind of hang your hat on. But again, I go back to the shorthanded chances that they got on the power play were just ridiculous. But to put a capper on this, 1554. Eric said it earlier, Marner. Let's just talk about what a pass that was from Anderson.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, Freddie floated that, dude.
Yeah, he did. I mean, that looked awesome. It reminded me of oh goodness, the Dallas goaltender who always loved to play against the Sharks.
Belfour?
No, not Belfour.
Turco.
Yeah.
Marty Turco. I hated that guy.
Yeah. But
and not because he was good. He actually he would make a lot of really boneheaded decisions. He was a big risk taker.
Yeah, he was. But on that particular goal, I don't like the fact that Jones does not front that puck, does not come out and try to get a lane to see the puck. He just kind of is hoping, playing a little bit of hope hockey that his guys are going to get out of the way so he can, view, where the shot's coming from. And this is my problem.
Hold on. I just need to, I've never seen the user Joe P. Stowell in the chat, but saying that the cat in the background is more entertaining than the dude in his mom's basement. That is funny, dude. That is a funny comment, man. Oh, Laurel, and you deleted it? Come on. There was nothing wrong with that. That was funny.
So wait a minute. Are you the dude in the basement? I guess I'm the dude.
I don't think so. But either way, dude, come on. That was a funny one.
Yeah.
Joe, I don't know why Laurel throw you on a timeout for that one, but I apologize. And dude, that was funny. Dude, it was a clean joke. There was nothing offensive about it. That was fantastic. So anyway.
Hey, anytime Joe wants to hop on, I'd love to talk to him.
Oh, second time he said it. Well, we didn't see it the first time, but we're trying to keep an eye on that and everything. So anyway, the thing I just want to finish off with that, both of Kapanen's goals were glove side high. It seemed like really it seemed like this is going to be the film that teams are going to look at, and they're going to sit there and go, watch Jones. He is vulnerable up high.
Yeah. I mean, all of his really bad goals have come up high, and especially
all tonight. High. Yeah, tonight where there was 2 glove high, 1 stick high. That all of those are the honestly, like the first 2, especially because, like we said, Tavares, it bounces off Pickles. It's a weird. Now, granted, if he had stayed, in a down position, he probably would have had that, but he probably also didn't think that it was going to glance off of Pickles. Either one. I look at that and I go, okay, that's he's gonna have that 50% of the time, I suppose.
Juan Timer It's Niemi-esque.
Oh, ouch. But either way, that's something that needs to be looked at. It did for a goalie that's 6'4", you would think that he would have a little better opportunity of covering a little more high end. Cam Jones plays positional goaling, and when he's off in his angle, he has no game. Yeah, I can see a little bit of that, to be honest. But as much as we lament the power play, you do have to give it up for the PK. I mean, they're 34 for their last 35 since October 18th. That is, that's pretty bomb. So, yeah. and then let's just dispel it right now. This is not a stealth jersey curse that they lose in these things, because right now, as it stands, they're 2-2 in the stealth jersey. So they're playing 500 hockey in the stealth jersey. So
I always like, for jersey curse, I always feel like the first game that they play in said jersey is kind of where it's going to be, and they won in their first game in that jersey. So I don't know.
Yeah, versus Buffalo.
Yep.
Versus Buffalo, then a overtime or a loss to the Blue Jackets, and that was a painful loss, let me tell you. Then an overtime win, 13 seconds in, courtesy of Timo Meier versus Philadelphia, and then tonight the loss. So yes, 500 jersey, Chris.
All right, let's quickly do the game rundown. Shots on goal for the Maple Leafs tonight. Shots on goal 34. Face-off percentage 62% in the dot tonight. They really just swallowed the Sharks whole on that one. They go 0 for 3, like AJ says. On the power play.
No, they went 1 for 3. Pavs, his first goal.
No, Maple Leafs go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The PIMs are at 12. Hits are at 19. Blocks 10. Giveaways 6. The Sharks, on the other hand, have 45 shots on goal, although it kind of didn't really feel like that. But
it's that idea of quantity over quality.
Right.
But at least the Sharks are getting back to another thing that made them successful early on, was they were averaging like 36, 37 shots on goal a night. They were only second to, I believe, Carolina in that department for like the first 12, 13 games. So at least they're getting back to putting a lot of rubber on net. My thing is, crash the net. That was working for you for a stretch. We seem to have gone back to the whole idea of, one and done from the blue line. We need to stop that. But the one other thing that you can sit there and go, well, at least it's not a bad thing. Carlson picked up 2 assists tonight and got his first primary assist. So, hey, there's something to hang your hat on, I suppose. But anyway, the rest of the line for the Sharks?
Yeah, Sharks 45 shots on goal, face-off percentage 38, power play 1 for 3. They have 12 penalty minutes as well. Hits 32, blocks 20, and giveaways 8. So,
and jot this one down, because I mean, the Sharks out hit their opponent maybe 8 games a season?
Yeah, right. And so I guess in just total shot attempts, both the Maple Leafs, the Maple Leafs are at 54 and the Sharks are at 55. So it says that it's fairly even, but I don't know, AJ. I mean, to me, we'll go against that quality versus quantity talk, and I don't know. It just seems like they're willing to play that perimeter game. Nobody really wants to go into the slot and get a real dirty goal.
Unless their name is Timo Meier, evidently.
Unless their name is Timo Meier. And we saw Kane do that a little bit last year when he came over. But, at
the beginning of this season, his first 4 games.
Right. And so, you got to wonder what's kind of going on with Kane. He's kind of been a little, hot and cold. Now, mind you, that was the book on him. So, a little bit of buyer's remorse, maybe. I don't think so, but be what it is.
Small sample size.
Small sample size. But for me, the guy on the ice that looked fairly decent was Jumbo. I mean, Jumbo was making some really good plays. Felt like he and Sorensen just have some real chemistry. They're really dynamic together. And I liked LeBanc with those 2. And I mean, to me, that looked like a really good line. I felt like the Couture line just got dined out tonight by Tavares. that was kind of a mismatch.
Well, I consider that, but I also I think that Pavelski being on that line just threw off. That was another decision that I did not agree with from PDB, is putting Couture and Meyer and replacing Hurdle with Pavs. I would have rather have seen LeBanc in that spot, because
Agreed.
Thornton is building up chemistry with Sorensen, like you said, but Pavelski already has a history of chemistry with Pavs. So I thought that was a bad coaching decision. And especially when you see LeBanc get that first goal, and you talk about a guy who's definitely needed a first goal.
Exactly. I mean, LeBanc played really well out there tonight. I felt like he had a really good game. Quickly, we'll just kind of go over, the plus minuses for tonight. Evander Kane's a -2, Barclay Goodrow -2. Logan,
don't do it, dude. Chris is gonna light you up in the chat, dude. Plus minus is the worst stat you can hang your hat on.
But I mean, Logan Couture with a -3 tonight, and again, he's playing against Tavares. Look, that is just a center mismatch, and this team. I mean, like I said in the opening, haves and have-nots. Sharks need another center.
Well, I think they went after one, but he played on the other team tonight.
Right.
So I'm just saying. The other thing you got to take into account too is, I mean, after one period, the Sharks had a 1-goal lead, and then you look and Chartier only gets 5.5 minutes.
Yep.
Goody only gets 7.5 minutes. So it's you kind of look at those numbers and you go, at some point, I don't know. It's a little mind-numbing thing. I love that Sorensen was 100% in the face-off tonight, because he took one face-off after Thornton got booted.
So the only pure centerman that was doing okay was Suomela.
Yeah, he was the only one.
And I don't understand his deployment in all of this. If you really, I mean, honestly, you could have put Suomela with Jumbo, and you could have put Suomela, Jumbo, and Sorensen together. That way Suomela can kind of play off of a guy who can get him the puck. Can kind of work a little bit more on his shot, and instead of trying to be that playmaker in the middle. We just got to question these lineup decisions.
Well, I don't have a problem with how the fourth line was deployed tonight. Chartier between Melk and Goody. You're literally talking about guys who have literally been the fourth line this entire season for the vast majority of it. Again, I get back into the top three. I don't understand why is Kane not out there with Donskoy with Pavelski as the pivot? As soon as I saw those were the lines, I went, why? That was the first thing in my head. Why is Meyer and Couture out there with Pavs instead of LeBanc? Like, it's just, PDB, you're really in for it. A friend of the show, Gen X, he warned us about this. I'm just saying, you go back and look at shows that we did 3 years ago. We were warned, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying. So
yeah,
I think we can probably move on from this. Look ahead. The St. Louis Blues are coming to town. Now, if you have the attention span of a gnat, you'll forget that the St. Louis Blues played the Sharks just about a week or so ago. And it was a 4-0 shutout, one of the worst games the Sharks have ever played. Now, granted, take from it what you will. Aaron Dell was the starter in that. The world's okayest goalie did not look that okay in that game. 4-0 shutout. So the Sharks should try to do something to make reparations for that. Also take in account to tonight. This was not the Sharks' glowing moment. The Sharks face Toronto at the end of this month on the 28th. Now, granted, it's on the second of a back-to-back, but you would hope that the Sharks will make some adjustments. But it still comes down to the fact that Toronto is just a really good transition team with a ton of speed. There is a reason, my friends, why they are second in the Atlantic and only a point behind Tampa. And if they played in the Metropolitan, they'd have a 2-point lead for first in that division. So,
yeah, no, I totally agree. I think we should also talk. Let's kind of start to address the elephant in the room, though. Let's
Which
look
one?
at. I'm specifically talking about the D core, and there needs to be a sitting. And I'm sorry, Marc-Edouard Vlasic, but your teddy bear is going to have to sit a game. Justin Braun does not look himself.
He got crushed tonight and ended up missing about 6 or 7 minutes on that trip.
Yeah, but again, he has not looked good all season.
Oh, and I would highly disagree with you on that. I think part of that had to do with the fact that he started off with Carlson.
No, started off
with Dylan. Yeah, I'm sorry, because Carlson was up with Vlasic. Yeah, I inverted those. But I think that has something to do with it. But since he's been reunited with Vlasic, I think for the most part, I think he's been fine. We're talking about the pair, Vlasic and Braun. Those aren't the ones that typically that we're yelling about that they're taking dumb chances. That's usually Burns. That's usually, starfish defensive posture became a trademark for a reason. We're talking about EK65. He's only, you take away the last couple of games, that dude's still sitting on like 5 points, and none of them are primary assists, none of them are goals, and the majority of them are coming on the power play. So to me, Braun is like the last thing I'm going to worry about as long as he continues with Vlasic. Is he going to have a bad game or two? Absolutely. But no, he's the last thing I worry about. When him and Vlasic are together, it's the last pair I worry about.
Oh, and see, I totally disagree. I've seen so many pucks skip over his stick while trying to keep it in the offensive zone this year, and it's led to breakaways. I've seen blown tires. There's just something that doesn't look right with him, and I don't know what it is, but to me, there needs to be somebody of the core, of the, I guess it would be either Dylan or Braun. One of those two needs to sit. Now, Dylan hasn't done. He's looked okay. He hasn't looked out of place with EK65, and you're definitely not going to bench EK65, or you're not going to bench Burns or whatever. So that leaves you with basically Braun or Dylan or Ryan, one of those three. But I think there needs to be a shot off the bow by the coaching staff. That look. You guys are not playing well. It's part, team defense is part of the problem. And we're looking at Martin Jones' stat line right now, 894 save percentage, a 2.94 goals against.
Oh, like the worst save percentage in the league right now. But the thing is, I'm not benching anybody on the defense. I'm working at try to put them in a position to succeed. The only guy, the one guy that I'm saying that maybe you sit for a game or two is Yoki Ryan. Now, and that is not, oh dear Lord. Okay, you're gonna have to vamp for a minute because I think Puck Guy just came over. Hold on.
Well, that means I get to control what's ever said. Look. To me, Joakim Ryan actually played pretty decently with Erik Karlsson. And I know that Joakim Ryan and Brent Burns are kind of like, a thing. But maybe you try and break up the comfortable pairings. Maybe you do try to put Vlasic and Burns back together. I know that didn't work. The pickle snake experiment never worked. But it might be time to look at that again and maybe play Joakim Ryan with, Erik Karlsson.
Well, see, this is the whole thing is we look back at the game against Dallas. Yoki Ryan only plays 5 minutes, gets benched for the third, he gets scratched for the next game against St. Louis where they insert Heed. Maybe it's time to look at Simic. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. Ryan, but then again, though, who has Ryan spent the most time with? Brent Burns. Which defenseman on this team has the most points? In fact, which Shark has the most points? Brent Burns. So, you know, you can debate that both ways. I just sit here and I go, God, is it almost like an embarrassment of riches? Like, was Karlsson just not the right guy? I don't know.
You know, we all looked at that and kind of salivated and said, oh my God, you know, you're going to have either Burns or Karlsson out there for 45 minutes a game. But,
or Vlasic.
Well, I mean, that's if the Vlasic Karlsson pairing worked.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, how do you solve that problem, AJ, without going, without going out and getting another forward? I can't believe I'm going to say this, and I'm going to throw up a little bit. Is it time to look at putting Burns somewhere other than defense?
Stop. No.
I'm only saying that because I was listening to Hockey Central at noon today. Is it too many cooks in the kitchen? Too many top dog defensemen?
I think sometimes that is the case, but I also think that part of that is that's on the coaching. Are you going to? We saw towards the end of this game tonight, Burns and Karlsson out there together. That has not worked 20 games in. That just has not been a recipe for success. Oh, I like that. Yes, let's just you know what? Shit can everything. We're going to jettison Dylan, you know, make a trade for like a, you know, somebody for a bottom six guy and get Ryan Merkley in here. Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. Hold on. Give me 1 second because evidently a door is confusing puck guy.
So yeah, I mean, to me, there needs to be some kind of shakeup. And also, I mean, the defensive structure of the team, it just seems like the forwards are not coming back deep enough into the zone, into the D zone, and taking the pucks from, you know, getting those clean passes from the D, or, you know, picking up the breakout passes very cleanly. Then you've got 2-on-1s that go the other way. You've got 3-on-2s. It just defensive lapses and defensive breakdowns that shouldn't be happening. I mean, we're 20 plus games into the season now. I mean,
dude, just give it up for Chris. He's like, doors are like internet connections. They're difficult. Just saying. Saying.
Not cool, Chris. Not cool.
Eric, I'm loving the jersey. I'm loving the jersey.
Landy's loving the jersey.
Yeah, I went old school too.
See, I just, it was stealth night, so I went stealth. So with that, everybody loving Chris's comment. Okay, so with that, I think it's time to finish this up. It is what it is. We know St. Louis is coming to town. Let's get some retribution for the 4-0 loss. So you know what time it is.
Have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
That's right. It's reach around, my friend.
The people have spoken.
The people have spoken, my friend. It is reach around. So, Battle of New York did not end well for the Rags. You talk about another team that is just kind of lulling along. King Henrik not getting the start tonight, by the way. But how do you say this name? Bouvier?
Bouvier.
Bouvier. Dude, that's so bougie. That name is so bougie. It just got out of a Soul Cycle session, got in its Prius, and went to go get avocado toast. That's how bougie that name is. But he did have a hat trick tonight. So bougie way, my friends. But 7-5 Isles over the Rags. And then we get to the other those little puny East Coasters. I just want to
tri-state area matchup, right?
Yes, but but Joyzy 3-0 over the Flyers. Elliott picks up the loss in that. Lightning get one of those fun wins, 4-3 over the Penguins. This one was a laugh riot. Check Twitter. You had like 3 guys in the box. There was a Penguins party in the box tonight. It was fantastic. Murray picking up the loss, and this despite Hornquist scoring twice and Kessel getting a power play goal. The Blue Jackets, dude, they're starting to roll, man. Number 1 in the division, 7-3 over the Panthers. I like the Blue Jackets, really? But okay, because let's be honest, John Tortorella cannot have nice things. Why is this happening? But talk to me in April. Talk to me in April.
I did, say that they were going to be the Metro winner.
Talk to me in April.
Talk
to me in April.
But quickly, I mean, Penguins 7-3, not great.
Yeah, little mediocre in Pittsburgh. The Senators pick up one of those rare wins, but they were playing the Red Wings, so 2-1. Anderson besting Howard. Fun fact: the last time I looked it up, I do believe that Tierney has 18 points, while 16 points in 18 games, while Carlson has
9.
Less.
9 and 18, 9 and 19, something like that.
Either way, it's very fun. Drew, friend of the show, Drew Weber, tweeted that out earlier. It was very funny. The Minnesota Wild get over on the Canucks 6-2. Dubnyk over Bachman. Bachman? Who the hell's Bachman? dude, like the Canucks go through goalies like Spinal Tap goes through drummers. Okay. Yeah, nothing. Okay. Former Sharks. Okay. Fun fact, former Sharks alert, Charlie Coyle started the scoring off in that one. Canadians beat the Flames tonight 3-2. Price over Shark Killer, Mark Smith. Kachuk with both of the goals for the Flames tonight. And maybe one of the funnest games tonight, the Coyotes 2-1 over the Predators. Kemper over Rene. I mean, and again, former Sharks alert, Jason Demers getting the game winner in this. Seriously?
Hey, well, you know what? At least the Sharks have the time to dick around, because the ineptitude of the Pacific Division is just glorious.
Dude, that's just wrong on so many levels.
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, look, you've got the Sharks who this is the differential, and I'm just going to go from 1, 2, 3. 0, -10, -1. That is your top 3 in the Pacific Division, ladies and gentlemen, through 20 games.
Well, and let me take a look right now, because I know we talked about this on the Pucknologist last night, but is it still the same? And of course, yes, it is. 20. Oh no, it got worse. Last night when we were on the Pucknologist, 6 points separated 1 and 6 in the Pacific Division. Now 6 points separates 1 through 7. Only 5 points. No, I'm sorry, 4 points separating 1 through 6 in the Pacific Division. This is going to be so much fun. And remember, I have Remenda on the
mind.
Remember, I almost said the wrong word. The Canucks are coming to town, as is Edmonton, very soon. So those with the Canucks right now, 2nd, Edmonton right now, 4th. Hey now. Now.
You also want to hear some, this is something that you just can't make up even in the off season when you're like, tripping some major cojones. The only
what do you do on your off days? What are you talking about?
The only team in the Pacific Division with a positive goal differential, Arizona.
Just like Hockey Jerk called it.
Arizona with a +2 lead the Pacific Division in differential.
And look at the comment in the chat, dude. Canucks are 2nd in the Pacific. LOL. And only 1 point behind. Like, San Jose really pissed away an opportunity to try to start to separate from the pack. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, like I said before, they have the time to dick around because of the mediocrity. I don't think we're going to have to worry about, and this is for you, Puck Guy, Vancouver.
Did somebody say Vancouver?
I think
literally somebody just in the chat just said, I'm waiting for Puck Guy just to pop his short house back in on the front. Okay. Oy.
All right. Well, AJ,
starting to regret giving this guy my home address. Anyway, go ahead.
I think it's time to call this a night. Let's go ahead and wrap it up with a bow. The Sharks still lead the Pacific Division We've got St. Louis coming up. What are your keys to the next game? What are you looking for, and where can the people find you?
Just win the game. No, I mean, get back to what was working, crashing the net, owning the slot, solve the neutral problem. I mean, the transition, you got destroyed on transition. Again, I said it earlier. The thing for me is teams are going to look at tape of tonight's game, and they're going to say, this is how you beat the Sharks. You go stick side or glove side high, evidently, on Jones. You can own them in the neutral, and if you get that transition going, boom, you're going to get there. Now, Rob Iman coming up with an interesting comment. Start Aaron Dell versus St. Louis. Is that something based on, because there was a lot of people that said if it wasn't for Jones 2 nights ago, the Sharks, who the hell did we play 2 nights ago? Who was it that we just put? Nashville. Yeah, I was going to say best team in the NHL. If it wasn't for Jones, the Sharks would not have won that game. But then you look at tonight, and there were some those last 3 goals were somewhat questionable. Did the D totally, throw Jones out to dry? Yes, especially on that shorthanded opportunity. But I like the idea of giving Aaron Dell the opportunity to make good for the 4-0 shutout in St. Louis a week ago. So, Rob, I like the idea. I don't know that PDB is going to go for it, but we'll see. Remember, you also have Edmonton and Vancouver coming to town. Those are not lightweight games either. And maybe this is a good time to get Dell back in because St. Louis is still scraping the bottom of the barrel of their division. So, and how are they right now? They're, 5-4-1 over their last 10, and they've lost 2 in a row. So maybe that is a good time to get Dell in. Good comment, Rob, is what I'm trying to say.
Would it be his, wait for it, Bob Marley moment, redemption song?
Oh, dear Lord.
Well, AJ, where can the people find you?
Well, evidently, Puck Guy can find me in my house. Other than that, you can find me on the social, AJ_strong on Twitter, on Instagram, Tealtown USA Instagram, tealtownusa.com. You know what to do. Hit the subscribe button for this if you enjoyed the show. We do this live after every single Sharks game. We also throw out some ancillary, and I use that word only because Steve mentioned it earlier. We throw out some ancillary Sharks content from here and there. Hey, leave us a review on iTunes. Check us out on SoundCloud. And I did say that I was going to announce something at the end of the show, and now I'm announcing it. We have an interview to announce. It's not the same as trade. But I'm going to be talking with Drew Remenda on Monday. We're going to be talking about the Sharks, where they're at now at the 20 game, essentially the quarter pole mark. And, of course, it's going to be the night before the Sharks face Edmonton. So if you have some questions that you would like to ask Drew, send them my way, AJ_strong on Twitter. I'm not going to use them all. Let me just put that out there now. And when I say like an AMA, I call it an AMAWR. Ask me anything within reason. So, yes, Stud Muffin, Puck Mom, Stud Muffin is going to be interviewed this Monday. So look for that. Don't slide into my DMs, bro. Just ask me a question direct. And if I like it, that's what we're going to be talking about. So There you go.
All right.
Would you like to tell people where they can find you?
Oh, me? You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at PuckGuy14. And just remember, make sure that you ask these guys, where did the Canucks play? Back to you, Landy.
Oh, he only gets one of those. The Canucks play in British Columbia. That's all I'm going to say about that. Right.
That's a good call, my friend.
I'm Eric Landy. You can use my first name, Eric, E-R-I-K. It's spelled the right way. Landy, L-A-N-D-I. Plug that into all the social medias, and you'll find me. And for all of us at tealtownusa.com, we really appreciate you logging on. Like AJ said before, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Use the little bell so then you can get the live updates when we go live. Of course, if you're a long time, listener and watcher, you'd know that we're on after every game, every Sharks game. So we
never close.
We never close. So we will see everybody after the St. Louis Blues game. Again, if you've got those questions for AJ, shoot them on over on Twitter. And for the whole crew, thank you very much and have a great night, everybody.